Centre issues guidelines for Unlock 4.0. Metro services to resume in a phased manner from 7th September. Open-air theatre to restart from 21st of September. Lockdown to continue in containment zones till 30th September. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts in his Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio today at 11 a.m. The 68th episode of the monthly program will be broadcast on the entire network of AIR and Doordarshan. Heavy rainfall in Madhya Pradesh leads to flood situation in 9 districts of the state. More than 7,000 people rescued. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan conducts aerial survey. In Jammu and Kashmir, 3 terrorists eliminated in Srinagar. A police personnel martyred. Operation still going on. India further consolidates its war to fight COVID-19. More than 9 lakh tests conducted in the country for a third day in a row. Total number of tests conducted crosses 4 crore mark. Recovery rate improves to 76.47%, while the case fatality rate further drops to 1.81%. COVID-19 cases worldwide rise to over 2 crore 51 lakh. Global death toll crosses 8,45,000. Protesters gather to call to end measures including local lockdown in UK. Also held protest against coronavirus restrictions in Berlin and Paris. And India to take on Russia in the final of the FIDE online chess Olympiad today. Koneru Hampi helps India to reach the final after winning a nerve-wracking tiebreak against Poland's Monika Soko. Good morning. Welcome to English News. This Sunday morning, I am Anil Thomas. Now for the stories in detail. In a big move, the Ministry of Home Affairs today released fresh guidelines for 4.0 that will come in force from the 1st of September. Under the new guidelines, the centre has allowed reopening of metro services across the country in a graded manner from 7th September. Let's take a look at the details. Metro rail to be allowed from September 7th in a grade manner. Social political functions to be permitted with a ceiling of 100 persons from September 21st. Open-air theatres to be permitted with effect from September 21st. Schools, colleges to remain shut till September 30th. States, union territories may permit up to 50% of teaching, non-teaching staff to schools. Students of classes 9 to 12 may be permitted to visit their school outside the containment zones only. Skill or entrepreneurship training will be permitted in the national skill training centers. Cinema halls, swimming pools, entertainment parks, theatres not permitted to open. International air travel of passengers not permitted. States not to impose any local lockdown outside the containment zones. No restrictions on interstate and intrastate movement of persons and goods. Lockdown continues to be implemented strictly in containment zones till the 30th of September. Use of Arogya Setu mobile application continues to be encouraged. MHA will monitor the effective implementation of national directives. Well, as per the latest guidelines issued by the Ministry of Home Affairs under Unlock 4.0, Delhi Metro will be resuming its services for public from the 7th of September onwards in a calibrated manner. Further details on the metro functioning and its usage by the general public will be shared once the detailed SOP on metros is issued by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs in the next few days. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has said he is glad that Metro has been permitted to start its operations from the 7th of September in a phased manner. Well, for more on that story, Arun Sharma, our correspondent, joining us. Arun, good morning. Arun, looking at the way things stand, Unlock 4.0, the big things that we read purely with regards to metro starting, how much of is it a game changer as you compare it to the other 3 Unlock versions that we had? What are the new things that come on board in Unlock 4?
Good morning, Anil. And when we say that metro is the lifeline of the city, so when in Unlock 4, when the government has come out with the guidelines which says that metro will be permitted, that means the lifeline of close to 12 cities, I mean, close to a dozen
Okay.
cities in our country will be opening up. There are various cities in our country where metro is operational, which includes Ahmedabad, Jaipur, Kochi, Bangalore. There are more than 12 cities in our country. So the metro services will resume in all cities primarily in our country, for which the SOP will be discussed on 1st of September by Ministry of Urban Affairs. So the focus of Unlock 4 guidelines is primarily on two parts. One is metro, and second, of course, is on the education sector part, and how we're
Okay.
opening the education sector. Yes, the metros will be opened in the graded manner, in a calibrated manner, and SOP will, of course, be further be released by the Urban Affairs Ministry after the consultations and discussions on 1st of September. Second important part, we are seeing that education sector is also now opening up gradually. No doubt that schools and colleges and other education institutions will be closed until 30th of September.
Mm-hmm.
But over here, the point is that the teaching staff and the non-teaching staff, up to 50% can be called in schools and colleges. So that's an important part. Second big takeaway as far as education sector is concerned, that students from 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, these
Mm-hmm.
four classes, if they have to take any guidances from their
Okay.
teacher, or any of their mentors in the school, they can of course go to school and take some guidances
Mm-hmm.
if in case they want from teacher. But yes, in this case, their parents will have to give them in return that yes, they're allowing their kid or a ward to go to school.
Okay.
So yes, no formal education or classes will be there, but for any kind of guidances, for any kind of queries, the student can go to school for some kind of consultation. But yes, the research scholar in our country, all those who are into postgraduate and of course doing PhDs, if they have to use the laboratories or some kind of research material, for example, the postgraduate students, if they have to do physics practical, chemistry practical, and of course any kind of research work, if they have to do, so they can of course go to their institutions and they can do the research related work or laboratory related work. But yes, the skill related institutions like ITI, they'll be now opening up as far as Unlock 4 guidelines are concerned. But over here, let me tell you one important part, Anil, that although the Ministry of Home Affairs has come out very clearly and said that no scheduled international flights will be operational,
Mm-hmm.
but we should understand this fact that government is already operating Vande Bharat mission, whereby evacuation from various other countries is going on under the Vande Bharat mission. So on the other side, government has also established air bubbles with more than 5 countries.
Okay.
Negotiation is going on with 13 other countries as far as air bubble system is concerned. So under the air bubble and Vande Bharat mission, various international flights are being operationalized, and of course evacuation, and of course the international travel is done under that mechanism. That means no scheduled international airline will be there, but yes, under the Vande Bharat mission and of course the air bubble mechanism, the international flight movement will take place. But the most important part, Anil, over here is that no states will be in a position to impose their individual lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen that various states have come forward and they were imposing some weekend lockdowns on or lockdown on some specific dates. But now the center has come out and clearly said that no primarily state-specific lockdown will be there. Only lockdowns can be imposed in containment zones in any part, and that too the district administration will be deciding on that part. So these are some of the big takeaways as far as Unlock 4 guidelines are concerned, Anil.
Also with regards to skill training, that's been allowed now, especially training in those areas. How much of it is important in today's times, and how will it benefit, students at large, especially people who are going to these skill centers for training?
Well, absolutely. So what government is ensuring, Anil, that wherever you need practical knowledge or practical requirement, or you have to do hands-on experiment, so that things should be open up now gradually. We
Mm-hmm.
we are witnessing that the PhD students or the postgraduate students who are supposed to do some kind of experiment and the practical, and they need to
Okay.
use the laboratory, so they have been allowed now gradually. But yes, they have to follow the social distancing measure. So on the other side, the ITIs in our country which are imparting the knowledges on the skill basis, or basically some hands-on experience is required. So in that context, only government has started up this kind of initiative. So we know this fact that government is now gradually opening up these sectors. So unlock, if we talk about the highlight of the Unlock 4, the two big highlight, that is the metro sector and of course the education sector. And in education sector also, government has opened up certain things, like for example the teaching staff and non-teaching staff up to 50% will be allowed to go to the schools, and they can conduct online classes from the schools as well. students from 9th and 12th, from 9th till 12th, they can go to school for some kind of consultations.
Okay.
So all the schools in colleges or any institutions, the higher up classes or higher, students in the higher classes, they have been gradually allowed and, introduced to the schools now in Unlock 4 guideline.
Okay.
So yes, we are now opening up as far as education sector is concerned gradually, but yes.
Okay, one final word, keep that brief. States, you made it very clear, states can't impose lockdowns in non-containment zones. So all those existing lockdowns that were planned, are they overruled now? Clearly the center has the right to decide on, states having any kind of lockdowns in their particular states.
Well, center has come out very clearly that no states can impose their individual lockdowns as far as non-containment zones are concerned. But yes, the states will have to revisit their guidelines as far as lockdowns are concerned. But we know this fact that these lockdowns will come into force in Unlock 4 when we are in Unlock 4. So yes, they'll have to revisit whatever the guidelines and lockdown measures they're implementing as of now.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you and appreciate you joining us this morning with those updates there. Aruna correspondent clearly indicating the big takeaway, metro, the lifeline of at least 12 cities in India, clearly back on the road from September 7th. So that's the big takeaway also in the field of education, where some changes have been notified. Well, moving on to the next story. Union Home Secretary and Health Secretary on Saturday jointly reviewed the measures for containment of the spread of COVID-19 infection in the Union Territories. These Union Territories are Puducherry, Lakshadweep, Andaman Nicobar Islands and Dadra and Nagar Haveli, along with Diu and Daman. Both the secretaries advised the senior officers of these Union Territories to ensure that the administrative officers, medical professionals, paramedical staff and other people associated with containing the spread of COVID-19 infection and management of COVID-19 situation work in close tandem. The Union Territories were advised to ramp up COVID testing facilities, maintain effective surveillance for early identification of COVID positive cases, effective contact tracing, augmenting house-to-house surveillance by medical teams and enforcement of containment measures in the containment zones. The Union Territories were also advised to ensure enforcement of precautionary measures like maintaining social distancing, sanitization and wearing of masks. Well, time now to take a look at the update on COVID-19 from across the country. The recovery rate in India has reached 76.47%, while the case fatality rate has also dropped now to 1.81%. 65,050 recoveries reported on Saturday, taking the cumulative total of recovered patients to 26,48,998 in the country. With this, the recovery rate currently stands at 76.47%. India's three-pronged strategy of test, trace and treat is proving to be a success. The fatality rate has dropped to 1.81% with 62,550 deaths reported so far. The number of active COVID-19 cases in India now stand at 7,52,424, which is 21.72% of the total cases reported so far. India has tested over 9 lakh COVID-19 samples each day for the third successive day, keeping a sharp focus on test, track and treat strategy of the union government. India has already created a capacity of doing 10 lakh tests per day. According to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, India has touched a new peak of 4 crore tests so far. As per the data provided by the Indian Council of Medical Research, the total number of samples tested so far stand at 4 crore 4,06,609. That includes 9,28,761 samples tested on Saturday. Heading up north to Jammu and Kashmir, 3 terrorists were killed in an ongoing encounter at Panta Chowk in the outskirts of Srinagar district. One ASI of Jammu and Kashmir police was also martyred in the exchange of firing. Identity of the terrorist is yet to be ascertained. The ASI, who was earlier critically injured, succumbed to his injuries in 92 base hospital. Earlier, 3 bike-borne terrorists had attacked a joint team of police and CRPF near the Panta Chowk, in which no damage was done. Well, Salman Kazi, our correspondent, joining us with more updates. Salman, what's the latest there, especially when it comes to, the particular militants being gunned down and also with regards to the injuries to the policemen?
There had been an injury to the one policeman, and he has come to the injuries. He's an ASI in the Jammu and Kashmir police. This encounter was triggered by, there was an attack, a bike, three militants on a bike. They attacked, they fired a few shots at a police party, and then the whole area was cordoned, and there was a search operation, and eventually there was a firing, intermittent firing, which had been going all through night. So the firing now has stopped as 3 militants have been killed in this encounter. But yeah, one of the ASIs of the Jammu and Kashmir police has also succumbed to his injury.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you and appreciate you joining us with those updates there from Jammu and Kashmir. Meanwhile, in a big success for security forces in Jammu and Kashmir, the Border Security Force has detected a tunnel just beneath the India-Pakistan international border fence in the Samba district of Jammu on Saturday. According to IGBSF Jammu NS Jamwal, this tunnel is around 150 yards long from the zero line, adding the mouth of the tunnel was properly reinforced by sandbags which have the markings of Pakistan. The force have launched a major search operation in the area to look for such other hidden structures that aid infiltration. The opening of the tunnel is around 170 meters from the IB in the Indian territory.
ये टनल करीब 150 गज जीरो लाइन से इंडियन साइड में खुद चुकी है, और इंडियन साइड में जो इसका माउथ है, यहाँ पर एग्जिट है, वहाँ पर प्रॉपरली सैंड बैग्स लगा के इसको रीइंफोर्स किया हुआ है, और उन सैंड बैग्स के ऊपर प्रॉपर पाकिस्तान की मार्किंग है, जिसके ऊपर कराची लिखा हुआ है, फैक्ट्रीज़ के नाम लिखे हुए हैं, शकरगढ़ लिखा हुआ है, शुगर फैक्ट्री का नाम लिखा हुआ है। वो सैंड बैग्स हम आपको थोड़ी देर में दिखाएंगे। तो इससे क्लियरली लगता है कि ये एक प्रॉपर प्लानिंग के साथ में, इंजीनियरिंग एफर्ट के साथ में इस टनल को खोदा गया है, और एक अल्टीरियर मोटिव के ध्यान में रखते हुए इसको खोदा गया है।
Back home, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in his Mann Ki Baat program at 11 a.m. today. It will be the 68th episode of the monthly radio program. It will be broadcast on the entire network of All India Radio and Doordarshan, and will also be streamed live on the YouTube channels of All India Radio, DD News, PMO and Information and Broadcasting Ministry. AIR will broadcast the program in regional languages immediately after the Hindi broadcast. The regional language versions will be repeated at 8 p.m. in the evening. Moving to central India, heavy rains continue to lash parts of Madhya Pradesh. Unabated rainfall has caused flood-like situation which has inundated over 394 villages in 9 districts of the state. More than 7,000 people have been rescued so far. In Chindwara, 5 people were airlifted by many villages of Hoshangabad. Sihor and Resin are underwater and dwellers have safely been rescued. All possible efforts are being made to evacuate people in Narela and other regions. 2 helicopters of Air Force took off to rescue people in Hoshangabad, Sihor and Resin, but they had to return from midway due to unfavorable weather conditions. Meanwhile, Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has assured the people that the state government will provide every possible help. He also appealed to the non-government organizations to come forward during this time of crisis and help the people. Well, our correspondent joining us from Madhya Pradesh this morning, Ajit, joining us. Ajit, good morning. Ajit, what's the situation there on ground zero? Has things changed, and is it become easy for, or are the conditions favorable for rescue and relief operations?
जी गुड मॉर्निंग। देखिए, जिस तरीके से मध्य प्रदेश में लगातार 3 दिनों से बारिश हो रही है, और लगातार जो कई इलाके हैं, खासतौर पे जो मेन जो रिवर है मध्य प्रदेश की नर्मदा, उसकी जो सहायक नदियां हैं जो उसकी, और वो जो है उफान पे है। सभी जो प्रमुख नदियां हैं वो खतरे के निशान से ऊपर बह रही हैं और इस कारण से जो है बाढ़ जैसी सिचुएशन जो है मध्य प्रदेश के 9 से 10 जिले में है। हजारों गांव जो है वो बाढ़ से प्रभावित है, जो कि नर्मदा के किनारे जो गांव है, कहीं ना कहीं जो कनेक्टिंग रिवर होती है उनमें पानी जो है बढ़ा है, नर्मदा में पानी बढ़ने के कारण, जिससे बाढ़ की स्थिति पैदा हो गई है। शहरों की बात की जाए तो शहरों में भी पानी भरा है, क्योंकि जो निचले इलाके हैं वहां पर बाढ़ जैसी समस्याएं पैदा हो गई हैं। राजधानी भोपाल में भी कई ऐसे इलाके हैं जहां पर कि पानी भर गया, वहां पर एनडीआरएफ एसडीआरएफ ने वहां पर रेस्क्यू किया और आर्मी को भी वहां पर डिप्लॉय किया गया है। आर्मी के 2 कॉलम जो है उन्हें डिप्लॉय किया गया है देर रात को, और मुख्यमंत्री शिवराज सिंह चौहान ने कहा था कि आर्मी को भी डिप्लॉय किया जाएगा, जिससे कि राहत का जो काम है वो तेजी से हो और किसी तरह की कोई समस्या जो है वो पैदा ना हो। कोशिश की जा रही है कि जब तक अभी 1-2 दिन ऐसी स्थिति और रह सकती है पूरे मध्य प्रदेश में, तो राहत और बचाव कार्य जो है उसको सुचारू रूप से चलाया जाए। एनडीआरएफ एसडीआरएफ और आर्मी के साथ मिलकर, साथ ही जो लोकल जो बॉडी है उनको भी कोऑर्डिनेट करके इस तरीके से राहत कार्य किए जा रहे हैं, जिससे किसी तरह की कोई बड़ी समस्या ना हो। मौसम विभाग का कहना है कि अभी मध्य प्रदेश में आज और जो मध्य प्रदेश का जो होशंगाबाद है, जबलपुर है, भोपाल है, इंदौर है, उज्जैन है, ये जो संभाग है, जो जोन है, वहां पर आज और बारिश हो सकती है। और इसके बाद जो ये सिस्टम है, जो वेदर सिस्टम है, जो कि वेस्ट बंगाल से उड़ीसा छत्तीसगढ़ होते हुए मध्य प्रदेश में शिफ्ट हुआ था, ये अब पश्चिम की तरफ बढ़ते हुए राजस्थान की तरफ शिफ्ट होगा। तो 1-2 दिनों में जो है बारिश से राहत मिलेगी, लेकिन फिलहाल जो है मध्य प्रदेश में बारिश से राहत आज नहीं मिलने वाली है। और लगातार बारिश से जो है जो लोकल जो जनजीवन है वो काफी प्रभावित हुआ है। कई जगहों पर पुलों के ऊपर से पानी बह रहा है, जिससे कि जो कनेक्टिविटी है, कई डिस्ट्रिक्ट जो है वो आइलैंड बन गए हैं, टापू बन गए हैं, और वहां से कनेक्टिविटी पूरी ब्रेक हो गई है, जिस कारण से लोगों का जो आना जाना है वो पूरी तरह से रुक गया है। कई जगह पर ऐसी स्थितियां भी आई कि लोगों ने उपनदी नदियों को पार करने की कोशिश की, वहां पर भी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ने पुलिस को डिप्लॉय किया है, जिससे कि लोग खतरा मोल ना लें, जान जोखिम में न डालें और कोशिश करें कि इस समय कुछ समय तक सुरक्षित रहे, जिससे कि ये जो कठिन समय है वो निकल जाए। कल मुख्यमंत्री शिवराज सिंह चौहान ने हवाई दौरा किया, सर्वे किया, जितने भी जो फ्लड इफेक्टेड एरिया है वहां पर उन्होंने उनको देखा और वहां पर किस तरीके से रेस्क्यू कार्य किया जाएगा, किस तरीके से प्रशासन को काम करना है, ये वहां पर उन्होंने निर्देश दिए। और लगातार उन्होंने अनाउंस किया कि जो लोकल बॉडी है, जो स्वयंसेवी संस्थाएं हैं वो भी आए और इस समय जो है मुसीबत की घड़ी में सामने आकर जो है प्रशासन का सहयोग करें, लोगों का सहयोग करें। तो मध्य प्रदेश पे अभी जो है जलमग्न है और मध्य प्रदेश पूरी तरीके से इस समय जो 10 से 12 जो जिले हैं वो बाढ़ से प्रभावित है। नदियां जो है, जो जितने डैम है मध्य प्रदेश में सभी जो है वो लबालब भर चुके हैं और नदियां खतरे के निशान से ऊपर बह रही हैं, जिससे कि कई जो है शहर जो है उनके अंदर तक पानी भर गया है। मैं आपको बताऊं कि जो जलजीव है वो तक शहरों में पहुंच गए हैं। कल नर्मदा नदी के कारण होशंगाबाद जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट है, जो कि नर्मदा के ठीक किनारे है, उसमें शहर के अंदर तक पानी भर गया, जिससे कि क्रोकोडाइल मगर जो है वो तक शहर में पहुंच गया। तो इसके लिए भी लोग सुरक्षित रहे और जब तक
Okay, Ajit, thank you and appreciate you joining us. You take good care of yourself. We'll come back to you for more updates from the state of Madhya Pradesh. Moving to Odisha, where several districts of Odisha are reeling under flood. The water level of Mahanandi River near Katak Mundali Barrage has crossed the danger mark on Saturday after Hirakud Dam opened its 46 sluice gates. The water will reach Naraj Barrage of Mahanandi, which will create a medium flood in Mahanandi and all its branches. At Naraj, already flood water is flowing above the danger level. High alert has been issued to all collectors of the coastal area. In Bihar, ahead of the electioneering for the upcoming assembly elections, BJP chief JP Nadda chaired a virtual meeting all of party MPs from the state to finalize its poll strategy. Addressing a virtual rally, JP Nadda recently said that all the 3 NDA constituents in Bihar, JDU, LJP and BJP will fight the state assembly polls together with Chief Minister Nitish Kumar as the face of the alliance and express confidence that they will emerge victorious. Bihar BJP President Sanjay Jaiswal said that every MP will visit 2 panchayats every day in September to prepare for the elections. Jaiswal further said that all the MPs will also meet the district officials separately. Along with this, MPs have been instructed to hold virtual meetings in every block. Elections in the state are due in November. However, Election Commission has not yet taken a final call on the poll dates in Bihar due to the coronavirus pandemic. Well, India has withdrawn from the Kavkaz 2020 military exercise, which has been scheduled to take place in Russia in September. The decision was taken amid the coronavirus pandemic and the consequent difficulties in exercise. Defense Ministry spokesperson said that Russia and India are close and privileged strategic partners, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic, India has decided not to send a contingent this year to Kavkaz 2020. Let's now take a look at updates on COVID-19 from across the world. Over 2 crore 51 lakh coronavirus cases reported worldwide, with over 8 lakh 46,000 deaths reported, too, from across the world. As many as 1 crore 74 lakh people have recovered from the virus so far. The United States continues to top the list amongst the worst hit by the pandemic so far, with the highest number of infections. USA has reported 61 lakhs 39,000 infections of COVID-19, with the death toll now over 1 lakh 86,000. United States is followed by Brazil, which has recorded 1 lakh 20,000 deaths and over 38 lakhs 46,000 cases. In United Kingdom, hundreds of demonstrators gathered in London's Trafalgar Square to protest against the UK government's coronavirus measures. Protesters called to end measures including lockdown, social distancing, mask wearing and track and trace systems. Country has reported more than 41,000 fatalities and over 3,62,000 cases. A similar protest was called in Paris. Around 200 protesters gathered at a place in Paris to voice their opposition against the government's decision to make masks obligatory in all public places. Protests were also held against any other sanitary measures taken to stop the spread of COVID-19. The country has reported a surge in new coronavirus cases after reopening of schools. Tens of thousands of people in Mauritius protested in St. Louis over the government's handling of the giant oil spill in the Indian Ocean coast. Protests also focused on the mysterious death of at least 40 dolphins that have been found near the site of the spill. The giant oil spill occurred when a Japanese bulk carrier crashed into the reef of southeastern Mauritius, spewing more than 1,000 tons of oil into the water that are home to mangrove forests and endangered species. In Germany, protests were held against coronavirus restrictions. Police arrested hundreds of protesters in Berlin. Earlier this week, the city banned to hold such protests. However, a German regional court overnight gave permission to hold protests by overruling the earlier decision. On to sports, India has reached the finals of the online FIDE Chess Olympiad. Koneru Hampi got the better of Poland's Monika Soko on Saturday in a tie-break to waltz into the final of the FIDE Online Chess Olympiad. Hampi was instrumental in helping India pip Poland in the semi-finals and reach the summit clash where they will meet Russia. After the two teams won one round each in regular play, World Rapid champion Hampi was pitted against Soko for the Armageddon, which is like a tie-break, and the Indian beat her rival in style with black pieces to clinch a spot in the final for her side. India's best result at the Chess Olympiad so far has been a third place in Tromsø in 2014, but now they are guaranteed a silver medal. That's all we have time for in this edition of news, but you take good care of yourself, follow physical distancing and always wear a face mask. Thanks for watching.